This is so cool.
I wouldn't describe myself as outdoorsy growing up, but over the last decade, a little more than that, I've been really into the outdoors and found a love of nature.
Wow. The summit?
The real summit is that one.
We going over there?
There and that.
Wow.
That's it.
So close.
My name is Mary Tilson. I'm originally from Chicago, but I live in Golden, Colorado now, and I'm a recovery coach and I run retreats. And Nepal has always been my favorite place to be in the mountains, and so my intention originally was to come and climb one 6,000 meter peak, but then it was suggested that I do this 3 6,000 meter peak expedition that 14 Peaks offers, and I genuinely didn't know if that would be realistic for me, but I figured there would be no harm in trying and I would enjoy my time here regardless, so I decided to go for it. I was familiar with Lobuche from going and staying in the village, and I know that's one of the accessible kind of beginner level 6,000 meter peaks. And I've also had friends that have climbed Island Peak. So both of those were kind of on the radar for me. And then I was really excited about the possibility of climbing Mera because that would be the highest that I've ever climbed. Well, it started from leaving Lobuche village, and the first day we trekked up to the high camp, which was, we had beautiful weather throughout the trip. So it was blue skies, and when we arrived at the high camp, it's, you know, positioned right in front of a lake with snow-covered peaks all around you, and so we arrived there. It was really exciting because it was such a beautiful location, and we did a little bit of training at the high camp, and then we had an early dinner, tried to rest as much as we could. Got up around, I want to say it was 12:30, maybe 1:30 that we ended up leaving, and you know, that's when we started for the summit. So we left in the dark. I spend a lot of time hiking at home, and so at first, you know, feeling the difference in the altitude, it was definitely humbling how much energy went into taking each step. But as soon as the light started to come out and you could see your surroundings, it was absolutely incredible. You know, we had, by the time we got to the summit, there were really clear views of Everest and just looking around, like complete 360 views. It was absolutely amazing. One of the most amazing things about being in that setting is if you can just pause and take a look around, it just shifts everything, because I could just immediately feel such an incredible sense of gratitude for being there and just feeling so inspired by the environment that, like, yes, it's hard, but it's so worth it.
Oh my God. Wow. Oh my God.
602. Yeah.
Oh my God.
You know, when we got up there, there was no one else on the summit, so we were able to just really take it in and celebrate. And I've known Dinesh for a couple years. He's a friend, so it really felt like we were able to, like, share in that together, and it was something really new. And then, you know, another group arrived on the summit. I was introduced, it was someone that I didn't recognize, but Dinesh introduced me to another Sherpa who had, like, an incredible number of Everest summits, so that was really inspiring to get to meet him. And yeah, then we just got to take it all in the morning light on the way down, which was really fun. But there's one moment, and I was actually watching a video on my phone of this earlier when I got back, that just really sticks out in my mind because it was so fun. We had just come down from Island Peak, and we were trekking from Chikung village at the base of Island Peak to the next village over. And we were going down this mountain right as we got into Periche village, and we both were so excited that we just started running. He's like, he was just running through the village, like around dogs and stuff like that. And it was just like, it was one of those moments where I felt like after the second peak, I'd probably be so exhausted, and like I didn't even know what I was going to be feeling, but instead I was just so excited. We were like so full of life. We were literally running towards Mera. So that just really stands out in my mind. Like a lot of it was just the in-between moments, like not necessarily the big highs of standing on the summit, but just, you know, being in the villages and sharing the excitement of like finishing one mountain and moving to another. Among the three, in terms of difficulty, Mera was the least technically challenging, and so the first two for me, there was a lot more exposure and, you know, steep. In the case of Island Peak, for example, there was a pretty steep rock face, and so for Mera, I kind of just felt like with it being the third mountain, it was just about like enjoying the whole experience and taking it in. We met some people with some really inspiring stories on the mountain, so that kind of added another layer of depth to the experience for me. There was a woman who had stage 4 cancer who was getting ready to climb Everest, and so I kind of had that in my mind as I was going up, and yeah, we just had another beautiful sunrise, and again, the views were just mind-blowing, so it really felt like it was a moment of celebration. That was actually the mountain that I felt the most emotional on, because I think it was like the culmination of everything that had happened over the few weeks.
Hey, Mary.
Hello.
How are you feeling?
Amazing. Best morning ever.
We made it to the summit, Mera Peak. Ooh, wow, what a view.
Having Dinesh as my guide was a major highlight for me, and I can't say enough positive things. So like I said, I've known him for a couple of years. We trekked to the Gokyo Lakes route of Everest Base Camp and then the traditional route last year. And for me, that felt really important because I'm new to mountaineering, and so a lot of this feels outside of my comfort zone. I don't have a history with rock climbing or doing like a lot of these type of things. So to go in knowing that it was somebody that I already trust, that I already have, you know, a friendship with, and I feel safe and comfortable with, was huge. And Dinesh is just someone that is so passionate about climbing. Like, I know that he wants to be there and he's having as much fun with it too. And so I just felt like the joy of it was also so amplified. We were like equally excited about the whole thing. So yeah, that really, really went a long way for me. I know I met plenty of people on the mountain who had kind of made a last minute decision to climb Lobuche or Island Peak, so they had no connection with their guide whatsoever. And for sure that makes a big difference, I think. I think what surprised me the most was like how energized I felt after each mountain and after the end of the trip. Like I said, I thought I was going to be completely exhausted by the time that I got back here, but I actually feel so energized and so inspired. And you're also crossing paths with people who have done the most incredible things in the mountains. So for me, like, that really just expands what seems possible. And so, yeah, I think just how energized and inspired I felt by the whole thing. This is my third year coming out and being here with 14 Peaks, and I can't imagine coming with anyone else now, because every time it's been completely seamless, from being picked up at the airport to arriving and checking in at the hotel. You know, the helicopters are always like, compared to the other flight stories that I've heard from so many people that I meet along the way, it always just feels like everything is flowing so seamlessly. And I've gotten to know the team now really well over the years, so everyone is always so warm and welcoming. I feel like there's such a connected community that could support with anything that's needed. So yeah, it's been an incredibly positive experience. One of the things that I've thought about a lot on this trip, just through meeting people and hearing their stories and times that I've been here in the past, is that people are drawn to the mountains for so many different reasons, and there is just so much to get out of the experience. And so for anyone who, you know, to answer your question earlier, who does have that draw to living a more adventurous life or just getting a little taste of what that might be, I would really, really encourage it. And I think the amazing thing, like I said, with, you know, having a company like 14 Peaks that makes it so accessible to somebody who might be on the opposite side of the world, feeling like, you know, how am I going to get over there, and like all the steps that it would take to be out in the Himalayas, like to have a company that provides a service where it becomes so easy and accessible that, yeah, I would really recommend going for it. I really found my love of the mountains, in the last few years that I've gotten really into hiking. So I would say anyone who has a genuine interest, I think it's something that there are a lot of challenges that come up, and there's definitely discomforts, and it takes a lot of training and preparation. So if you're somebody who really feels excited about the idea and it's something that would feel meaningful and you have a positive attitude about it, then I would say definitely go for it.
Drag it.